Thank you, sir. A very pleasant evening to all distinguished panelists and participants. Bharti Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI CAM, in association with Computational Intelligence Society CIS chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Computer Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society TEMS chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System Man and Cybernetics SMC Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity CNA Group of IEEE Delhi section, Life Member Affinity LMA Group of IEEE Delhi section, Inter-Society Relations IRS Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relation and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology Site Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Region 10 of IEEE with the Associations of Computer Society of India CSI, Institute of Information Technology Professionals IITP, ISTE Delhi section and IET Delhi Center as technical collaborator welcomes you all to the IEEE IETE BVI CAM technical lecture series on AI that works while you sleep, building personal automation agents. With immense pride and honor, we are delighted to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution to the monumental occasion, Golden Jubilee celebrations of the IEEE Delhi section. From 13th May 2025 to 12th May 2026, we mark 50 years of this vibrant and pioneering section, a journey that began in 1976 and has since shaped the technological and professional landscape of Northern India through innovation, collaboration, and learning. This webinar is an initiative to celebrate this legacy. According to Jeff Bezos, I predict that because of artificial intelligence and its ability to automate certain tasks that in the past were impossible to automate, not only will we have a much wealthier civilization, but the quality of work will go up very significantly, and a higher fraction of people will have callings and career relative to today. How we leverage AI and agentic architecture to automate our lives and work. In this session, we will introduce the work of agentic AI and its potential for us, especially in our day-to-day lives. Together, we will look at some frameworks and build a workflow that allows us to automate tasks we may be doing repetitively daily. This workshop will leave you with a set of tools that you can utilize on your own time and try to gain the edge, which is a promise from the AI offerings today. I would first take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. I would first welcome amongst us Professor Emin Huda Sir, Director, Bharti Vidyapeeth's Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI CAM, and Chairperson IEEE Delhi section to address the participants with his inspiring words. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, one and all. Am I audible to you, Dr. Ritika?
Yes, sir.
Great. So, at the outset, let me take this opportunity to welcome both the valued speakers for today who have found time for us out of their busy schedule and is with all of us to enlighten us, and Mr. Kapil Ahuja, the CTO of Nagarro, and Mr. Nishant Gaurav, the head of the innovation and digital experiences at Nagarro. So thank you so much, Mr. Kapil and Mr. Nishant, for finding time and being with all of us. And I also would like to especially thank my friend, Mr. Ajay, who is the backbone of this webinar series. And right from the inception, that is May 2020, it is the Ajay who works at the back end, which is not visible to the people. Thank you so much, Mr. Ajay. And I would also like to express my gratitude to all various heads of various professional societies who have collaborated. We also have Mr. Anil here, and many, very senior people amongst the attendees as well. Thank you so much, and dear participants from all over the country and abroad. Thank you so much for having joined us. Dear friends, all of you know that this webinar series was started more than 5 years ago in May 2020 in the backdrop of the COVID. And in the COVID, people were just blank what to do. And then we started this knowledge dissemination session under the patronage of IEEE, IET, BVI Camp, weekly Saturday evening webinar series. And since then, we are continuing. In 2024, IEEE US was trying to evaluate sustainability and impact of such knowledge dissemination session. We also submitted detail of this program, and this our weekly evening webinar series was adjudicated by Education and Activity Board of IEEE as one of the most sustainable, best sustainable webinar series, and we got the Education Activity Board award for that. The credit goes to my team and, of course, entire audience who have been a great source of strength for all these sessions. Dear friends, the today's session is 183rd episode of that webinar, and the topic is so apt that AI that works while you sleep, building personal automation agents. That when we are not working, AI is working for me. AI is customizing solutions for me. AI is trying to build everything in and around us. And that is what, and because of that reason, this Revolution 4.0, I keep on terming that in IR 4.0, it is the technology which is at the focal point, and the business process keep on revolving. Till Industrial Revolution 3.0, it was the technology which used to revolve around the business process. Now, from IR 4.0 onwards, the technology is at one place and the business process keep on revolving. Change has been very fast, so, as fast as never has been in the history before. And that is why Bill Gates said that never in the history, uh, except ICT, any other technology has given as much in such a short span of time, in such an innovative way to anyone in the mankind. And that is the beauty of the information and communication technology. And when we talk about AI has become a kind of buzzword, not only for technologists, not only for professionals, not only for educated people, rather each and everyone. And AI has become so pervasive that almost everything from us, AI is going to take over. I have taught AI for almost 15 years. And when I relate to the AI visibility of that particular era and today's era, it is a whole lot of difference. And that's why I keep on saying that there is nothing constant in this world except change. So if we do not adapt to changes upfront, possibly the technologically changing ecosystem will change us. And that's why I have said that इंसान घर बदलता है, लिबास बदलता है, रिश्ते बदलता है, दोस्त बदलता है, फिर भी परेशान क्यों रहता है? क्योंकि हम अपने आप को नहीं बदलते. And that's why Ghalib's two couplets are very apt here. That उम्र भर गालिब यही भूल करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पे थी और मैं आईना साफ करता रहा. So my dear friends, yes, the AI is working behind us. AI is working when we are sleeping. AI is working when we are taking rest. AI is working in omnipresent manner when we are not even realizing that something or other is being worked out for me, and some very smart and automated system will be coming for me. So for which we all of us are here to understand, to make us to know that how and in which way and which kind of framework the system is going to be solved to us in coming days. Thank you so much. Dear friends, many other webinar sessions have already been announced. Those who have not registered, please do register. There are many other activities regarding which Dr. Ritika have been informing you. Please join those activities. Once you join huge number, it becomes a source of motivation to all of us. So thank you so much. Keep learning despite disruptions. Wish you all the best. God bless you all. Over to you, Dr. Ritika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your motivating words. With this, I now welcome amongst us our expert speakers, Mr. Kapil sir and Mr. Nishant sir with an e-bouquet. Welcome to the session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shall we start, ma'am?
Sir, just a minute. Let me
Okay.
introduce you first.
Okay.
Kapil Ahuja, sir, is currently the partner director and CTO at Nagarro. He has been in technology for over 2 decades now. He has spent most of his time somewhere between architecture, product, and engineering, figuring out how to make systems work better, scale faster, remain easier as companies grow. These days, he's focusing on digital platforms, enterprise CMS, cloud native system, AI-led automation, and microservices architecture. He has also worked with Adobe, Salesforce, and OpenText, helping to deliver end-to-end platforms integrated with DXP, DMP, and marketing tech stacks. Along the way, he has also led and mentored development teams, trained engineers in CMS design, and collaborated closely with cross-functional leaders to keep technology and business aligned. The problems are rarely technical alone. It's usually about clarity, sequencing, and getting the teams aligned. What keeps him here is the messy parts, the trade-offs, the moments, and getting the teams aligned. If you are building something complex and want to think it through, Sir is always happy to connect. We are happy to have you amongst us, sir, today. Nishant, sir, leads alliance and partnership initiatives and consulting engagement across global enterprises. With 15 years of deep technical expertise, Nishant, sir, has architected and deployed end-to-end application for industry giants spanning domains from e-commerce and enterprise solutions to complex supply chains. As an Adobe certified AEM architect with over 9 years of hands-on experience in the Adobe Cloud site, he specializes in crafting holistic technical displays that seamlessly integrate content management systems with third-party platforms to deliver comprehensive digital experiences. We are also honored to have you amongst us, sir, today. I'll now request Kapil sir and Nishant sir to kindly enlighten the house. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Let me share my screen before we
Yes,
get started. I hope everyone can see what I'm sharing right now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So before we dive into the core topic, I think as Huda sir announced, I think the inspiration of the session today came from how each one of us, even though we may not have a very deep knowledge of artificial intelligence, can still start using these systems that have been announced 2 years ago to our advantage, not just using it for deep analysis, research, and stuff, but just to automate small things that saves many hours for us and allows us to do a lot more knowledge work that we always want to do. At least that has been my problem statement a lot. Uh, Given the time today, what we have planned is a little bit of a time to just take you through the history of the AI and where the agentic is coming in. But then most of the time we want to spend upon building a few demos using some of the tools that all of us can use even for free and start understanding how this AI system can help us. What you will see today in the demos is some of the use cases that we personally have started to automate for our use, but then that is just tip of the iceberg. Once you understand the systems, you get into the practical knowledge of it, you can use similar tools almost for free of cost and try so many other things that you want to do. Our goal and focus today is to just inspire some of you to try these new things. But before we jump into that, there was a small video we came, and as usual, technology has its problem. YouTube is refusing to connect. Let me see if I can play the video directly.
AI.
More agentic capabilities.
AI agent.
Agents, agentic workflows.
Agents.
Agentic.
Agentic. Agentic.
So what you just saw on the screen, and I don't know if my voice wasn't able or not, some of the biggest companies and the most prolific industry leaders who are driving this AI revolution for us. So you saw Sundar Pichai, you saw the CEO of NVIDIA and Sam Altman, all of them talking about and hyping what AI is all about. Now, to some extent, people think it is hype, but people think some of it is reality. Where we come from, we fundamentally believe there is something real which is coming around us. Of course, there is some marketing piece to it. Some people would go back and say AI is going to take over in 2 3 years. While that may or may not happen, what is realistic today is that all of us can start using AI to truly impact our day-to-day life, whether any one of us are students or office or career or even personal life as well. And AI continues to bring innovations for us. But before we jump into some of the demos, I'd like to hand it over to Nishant. Nishant, you may want to talk about the history of the AI very briefly
Sure,
and
Kapil.
how we reached to where we are.
Sure. I just want to make sure that am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So 1 minute that I want to spend on what is AI. It is hard to define what is AI in 1 minute, but few takeaways from this slide would be: we have always been obsessed with intelligent. We have always thought how we think and how we take actions. That is what, on a very broader level, we call our intelligence. There are difference of opinion, but few things: how we think and how we act. That should be in our mind in next 1 hour. And AI is something that is not only uh, how it is used to understand how AI is or intelligence is working, but also build entities that can simulate human learning, problem solving, decision making, and autonomy. So this is what, on a very high level, I would say AI is. Again, there are difference of opinion. They will find different opinion, but think and act at a machine level. That is what we should imagine AI is. So you can see that I have tried to create history of almost 70 years. So you can see it started in 1950s. The AI term was coined, and the famous Turing test, in which can machine think, that was questioned. And in that test, it was people were trying to understand if a problem is given to a person and it is solved by a human or a machine, can we distinguish? And that was the very beginning of AI. After that, there is a term in AI which is called AI winter. AI winter means there was no significant progress made because of lack of data, because of technical glitch, and then also a lack of funding. So that was there. People thought that after 20 years we will be able to build AI, but it took some time, almost 30 years, to do machine learning. So you can see 80s was the era when we were spending time, or when we were learning machine using data. And then again, it took some time. 1990s, you can see uh, the neuron network. Neural network is again based on how our mind work. And after that, you can see we are making gradual progress, starting from defining, then machine learning, and then how deep learning started. Deep learning is again how deeply we can learn, how neuron can go into the layers and then build their understanding. This was during 2010, and this is where you can see 2012 a major breakthrough was we created AlexNet, and in that the transformation architecture was defined, and that was the revolutionary step. And that from there, NLP started, natural language processing. Before that, we were primarily focused on image recognition, distinguishing between image of a cats and dogs. But how we make sense from reading the paragraph, reading the sentence, what is the intent, that was missing. So NLP was the trigger point. After that, and it was also the foundation of LLM, large language model. And after that, 2020s is where because of transformer, different LLM have come up, for example, GPT, BERT, and others. Now, I see 2022 November. That is where most of the people started talking about AI. It was actually Gen AI, but that from that point onwards, people started talking about AI. I see the reason because people see very first time they got the control, they have access to Chat GPT, they can give the prompt and they can see the results. And from that point onwards, in the last 3 years, everybody is talking about AI. So that was the time of Gen AI. And now next step was creation of agentic AI. That is the topic of today's discussion. So this is how, on a very high level, in the last 70 years, what has been the different milestone and the breakthroughs we have tried to come up with. So you can see in the same thing, but I just want to show you where exactly we are. We started with coining the term, then machine learning, deep learning, LLMs, and after LLM, you can see 2022 onwards, that is where we are now. After that, again, difference of opinion, different school of thought, the era of artificial general intelligence will come, and then artificial super intelligence. All of these terms are visionary. We think that we will be able to achieve. We will see how it goes. And then next slide. I'll just take a pause here. I hope all of you know this is a famous scene from a famous movie. I was just watching this movie last week with my daughter, and then the idea came up that I will use this scene to introduce agent. So you can see Tom Cruise in one of the famous scene. He has an environment, he has a mission to achieve. He wants to get the code of NOC. He's in a complicated situation, but he has all the tools available. He has all the intelligence available. Based on that, how he react, how he take decision, and that is how we call intelligence. They are trained to do that. Be it any situation, they are always on. Based on that, how they take decision and how they make their next move. I hope this would be a good starting point to understand, because it's a favorite movie, and then people relate the name of Agent Hunt very easily. So now, yeah, we can go to the next slide. So AI agent is something we have been talking about from the beginning, that they can work autonomously by following any workflow. We don't need to intervene. Once we have created the AI agent, it will be working for us autonomously. That is on a very simple term, the definition of AI agent you will find. And a few of the use cases, we spend time in online shopping, we spend time in travel booking, we spend time in managing our social media, in calendars and others. We go to calendar, we check our emails. For example, if you want to make a travel plan, you will go in Google and then search for different travel destination. You will also search for the flights. You will also search which flight is giving me the best option. Now, these are the things. If you create an AI agent, a personal agent for you, and if you have configured everything, the agent is going to do all these things for you. At the same time, it may happen that it is not the flight that you have booked or the hotel that you have booked. It might be cancelled. It might be the hotel might have been overbooked. Based on that, how it is taking decision, it has an environment, it has all those intelligence, reasoning, memory. Based on that, it again goes and search. A simple example I'm trying to give, that agent will be able to make a further decision and help you autonomously that this should be your best possible flight and hotel.
Yeah, so Nishant, let me quickly take it over in the interest of time.
Sure.
I think I'll move to the next piece. So when we look at the AI agent, and that's going to be a focus of our demo today, we look at agent having 4 key characteristics, what you see on the screen. And this is very reminiscent to if I was to look at a human being able to take certain decisions effectively. So let's take an example of what do we mean by these 4 key capabilities, and we're going to start seeing that into the demo very soon. So let's say you walk into a coffee shop today. You have a barista who's standing over the counter, and that barista asks, sir or ma'am, what would you want to have today? We will tell them the coffee or the drinks that we want. They will build the coffee and they basically give it to us. Now think about it. If this was an agent instead of that barista standing there, you walk into it, they see you, that's where perception comes into play. So they are able to see through their eyesight, they get a signal that somebody is walking through. If you come into that barista every day and order a similar coffee, they start to perceive that piece and they start to figure out exactly what is it that the person may be wanting. That's where step number two happens, or characteristic number two takes into place, which is the cognition part. So that barista has seen us, or let us say it's seen me. Now they realize I come here every day at the same time and I order cappuccino every day. So instead of waiting for me to ask, sir, what do you want? Their prompt can simply change. So shall I give you the cappuccino, your regular? My answer could be simply yes, and they will be able to build the coffee for me, thus making my overall experience much more seamless. Now, if you take this philosophy, that can only happen because they received a signal, they were able to make a decision through their cognition capability, but then they also had memory. That memory allowed them to remember that it is couple who's coming in. They always order a cappuccino and they want half milk or double milk or soy milk or what have you and things like that. But then they were able to automatically take an action to give me exactly what I want. If you were to convert that scenario into a digital agent, that's what we are talking about. So with that, if we jump into a demo quickly, and we'll talk about some of the frameworks later on, one of the case studies or one of the use cases we want to show today is we have prepared these three. So one of the things I do every day when I reach offices, I basically reach the office. I have some 20, 30, 40 odd emails. I have to spend half an hour, 45 minutes going through everything. Some of them are important, some of them are not that important, but then eventually I have to spend that time to summarize it every single day. That is my start of the day. What if I had an agent that would do that for me and that would know that couple is driving to office every day in the morning about 7:30 to 8:30, 1 hour drive. During that time, if it can do certain things, does use that 1 hour of driving in which I would be able to do nothing but finish these tasks for me. That is the effectiveness of an agent that we come in through. So what we're going to show you today through a demo is how we can build those agents even today that would read our unread emails and give me a summary of high priority and medium priority emails on a messenger of my choice. So I don't have to open Gmail or my Outlook, go to everything. I get a simple message at 8 o'clock in the morning that tells me, Kapil, here are your top priority emails. What if then the same agent can identify that some of those emails may also need some follow-up meetings to happen? What if I have to do a meeting with Nishant or Ajay for discussing certain piece? Can that email be set or not? And last but not the least, what if there was a topic that, let's say, Ajay sent me a question and asked me, Kapil, we want to discuss about so and so topic. And he says, I want to talk to you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Now, my day is fully busy, but I would want to do some research and be prepared for the meeting. Can an agent understand the topic, go back to a research and give me a summary, thus saving me a few hours of research and get me prepared for the meeting with him next day morning? So we're going to look into it, how some of the tools that we talk about can help us do that. Now, the intent of this demo is to inspire you to try these tools and try your own use cases. This is just three things that we came up with for the time we have, but there could be hundreds of such use cases you can come up with. And you guys are a lot more creative than we are, and you can try all of these things going out there. So with that, let's jump into one of the tools. I'm going to zoom out. You're going to see certain draws. We're going to dive into it. So this is one of the tools called NA10. This is the low code platform. That platform allows us to create these workflows and agentic use cases. This is not the only tool. There are so many tools out here. You can create some of these things. There is make.ai. You can do some of this thing in Claude and what have you. We choose NA10. We have been using it personally for both within our workspace or personal space. It is one of the best tools we found out there to be able to quickly start automating these things. Before I dive into how you build this piece, and don't worry, we'll have question answer in the end. You can start putting it into the chat, Nishant, or I can answer. I want to just explain to you what is happening here. Somewhere around here, there is an email that I have open. You see this is my email. I've connected it to my Gmail. I could be doing it with wherever it has certain unread emails. In the very first agent that I'm setting up, right now it is a schedule trigger. I have set it up to run every day morning. It is set up at 8 p.m. in the evening. I can pick up a time, or I can even set it up to run through a message through Discord or whatnot. I've set up an event. It's going to go back, get some of my unread emails. I'm only bringing two, I believe. It's going to do some processing, and then it's going to ask an agent to summarize everything. In this case, we are using OpenAI's model, but we can use Claude, we can use Perplexity, we can use any of the models that we want, and eventually send me a message on Discord. So instead of me trying to click every single email, read them through, I can get a simple message saying these are your high priority emails and low priority emails. Let's see if this executes. We're going to execute it, and then we are going to build it to show you how easy it is to build this piece out. So if you see, the entire thing is being run, and if I was to go to Discord, you would see I've got, as I said, two emails. I've got a simple message that tells me there is a high priority email. It tells me what the email is about. This is an email I sent to myself. It says there is no specific deadline. There is an action to schedule a meeting, and then there is a topic that it wants to work through. And then it says there is a low priority email. So it basically took these two emails on the top that you saw. This was one of the emails. Can you find some time for us to connect and discuss the Microsoft report on the jobs impacted by AI? And we're going to see how this can be used to do some research later on. Now let's start building this thing together. How did we do it? Now in this tool, a lot of this is going to happen through this plus. If you go back and say trigger, I can pick any triggers that I want. I can pick a trigger that can be sent through a webhook. I can say an MQTT trigger, which can come from an IoT device, or I can chat with it. I can use Discord. But in this case, the trigger that we used was schedule. Now, if I go back and say, I can say, I want to run a trigger interval of days. It has to run one day at midnight or any time that I want. I can set it up at 8 a.m. That's generally when I am on my way to the office. I would not want to go back and open the email. I want this agent to look at all my unread emails and give me a summary instead of me spending 30 minutes to do it. I'm not going to create everything. Some of it is already being created. So I'm going to kind of show you there because there are specific suggestions we do. Once that is done, next thing we can put it as Gmail. This is the tool here. Everything works out of this tool. But then in this tool, what you see is we've connected my account right now. Nishant has set up a similarly connecting his account. So each one of you can connect your Gmail accounts. Now, in our organization, we use Microsoft's Outlook and Office 365. We have very stringent policies, so we did not connect our official account. But in some cases, with the right approvals, right governance, we can even connect it to our official pieces. But this connects my personal account, any emails that comes through it. I get a lot of knowledge work there. So I use this kind of a setup to summarize different lists that come to me instead of spending and reading everything. So it says get many messages. I can limit it to 2, 20, whatever. I've chosen 2 because it is just easy to manage. And then I have said unread mails only. I can also say unread and read mails, but right now I have said unread emails. So step 1, step 2 is getting the emails. This is a code that basically takes all of the individual messages. See what you see on the left here. I should have actually spoken about it, my bad. So as we continue to run the workflow, so once I run the schedule workflow, it runs, shows everything on the left-hand side. Then it shows me all the messages it has received on the left-hand side. So if you look into it, it's going to go back and tell me there is delivered to my email ID, then the message, the details and everything. Lot of information going in. I don't need all of this piece out. I need some very specific information. So this code is nothing but JavaScript code. Any one of you who's writing JavaScript code would recognize this. We take all of this set of messages on the left and convert it to a very simple combined message. This combined message simply tells me that it is sent by a sender, what is the subject line, and then what is the text. It basically converts everything into a very small text. And then it passes to the agent. This is where the magic happens. If you've ever used OpenAI or any of their APIs or Claude and stuff, you would recognize that there is prompt that we send. And there are two kind of prompts that we send. One is a system prompt in which we give an instruction to the agent, how they should perform. And then there is a user message that we believe. So when we set up an agent in this, again, I'll go back, I'll select an agent here, this AI agent. This AI agent is equivalent to what you see on the screen here. Out here, I have set messages and I've dragged and dropped here. So any messages that I am getting from the code where I have summarized everything comes into the message here. But where the magic happens is the system message where I've given it an instruction. So the instruction that you read on the screen essentially is, you are an expert email assistant. Your task is to analyze a list of unread emails, provide clear and concise summary and everything. But then we also tell it, for each email, provide one-line summary capturing the message, any deadline or time-sensitive information, actions, and what have you. And we actually tell them how to prioritize. So we say that anything that requires immediate attention or action within 2 days should be a high priority. Anything that should be handled within a few days is medium, but then everything else can be a low priority email. Now, if you connect the dots, if you read this email, we basically said, can you find some time for us to connect? That's an email. So this is a clear indication of saying we need to set up some time to connect. And out here, we go back and said this should be one of the high or medium priorities. And now if you go back to Discord, it very clearly says this is a high priority email that we need to respond to. So all of that gets connected. This agent makes that decision on the fly, and it will do for every single email. I don't have to make that decision independently for everything. Once it is done, it connects to Discord, again, a tool. We've connected this to a server. There is a bit of a programming we did creating a bot and stuff, but that's how the message essentially comes. If you think some of it is being pre-programmed, let me send another message. Let's say I send a message saying another N8N demo email. We should set up some time on Tuesday to discuss how the IEEE session was and what can we do to improve it. And I send this across. Now, if you look into it, I'm going to still mark it as unread. Now, ideally, it should pick the first two, the HBR one and the me. I go back and I just simply execute the workflow. I could have waited till 8 p.m. when the workflow will execute automatically, but because I have to try now, I will just click it out and it will run into a test mode. It's run. And now if you think about it, see, the messages have changed. So this message is no longer there. It has changed this to a high priority and it is now saying set up a meeting on Tuesday. It's all programmatic. All I have told the agent is to read, understand, and take an action, and it can recognize the email and do all of these pieces in. So if this can run every day at 8 a.m., I typically get 30, 40 unread emails. My 40 minutes of work just going through the emails and understanding what do I need to do today can pretty much be solved by this agent automatically. Sure, these are 2 emails. It took like 10 seconds, 40 odd emails, probably going to take 3-4 minutes. But then this agent works when I am not. I could be driving to office, listening to music or a podcast, and this just gets that work done. So that's a use case number 1, how it can save at least me personally 30-40 minutes every day. We are now going to hand it over to Nishant, and Nishant, you may want to share your screen. He's going to extend this workflow or this agent so that if it identifies a meeting request has to be created, how would we enhance this agent to there? Nishant, take over, please.
Sure. Is my screen visible?
It's
Yes,
coming
sir.
up. Yes, we can see it.
Okay. I will just take 1 or 2 minutes to add on what Kapil was showing. You can see this agent is trying to connect to other system also. For example, this agent is trying to connect to Gmail, OpenAI chat model, and in a way, we are giving our Gmail access to this N8N or any other system that we are using. In that case, we need to do all those authentication, because unless we authenticate, you are trying to give the access. So those things, you will find all those things very handy available in the N8N documentation. I just want to touch upon that point. The second thing is, when you are creating an agent, there are three things. One is chat model, which obviously in this case we are using OpenAI. The second is memory, because when you want, memory is one of the important part of the agent. You want to keep the context or anything else. In that case, you can click on memory and you will have, the way you have tools for LLM, the way similarly you can have tools for memory as well as tools. So any agent would need tool. So in this case, I'm going to do is, I have this email, and wherever I feel that I need to set my calendar, wherever I feel that there is a reminder to make the fee payment, there is a reminder to return the book, or there is something important which the agent find that I should get that notification or send the reminder that you have to do something. In that case, the calendar invite will be automatically sent. This I'm going to delete in front of you. Sorry, there.
So these all are test events that Nishant and I have been trying to make it work. He's just cleaning it out so that we can start with a completely blank state.
Sure. So you can see that all those blue ones have been removed. Now what I'm going to do is, I will run this one. Again, the way Kapil ran, I will run this. You can see it is reading my email, and then it sees that whether any email need a event which should be set in my calendar. So it is going through all those email here. And now it is in the last step of creating event in my calendar. You will see it will go to the calendar also. You can see the count also, 4, 7. You can see it has started coming up here. So workflow has been executed successfully. If I open, you can see, now you might feel that Discord email notification, these are repetitive. It is actually not, because Discord is here and we were testing it, but in these 3 places also, in the summary, Discord will be there, and it says that I need to verify. I might not have verified. It says that I need to verify. Library fee submission. That means I need to submit the fee, and there can be other security related immediate action for Google security. This one. So wherever it feels that any next step is required, it sets a calendar invite in my calendar saying that you have a next step. Either it also sees the date. You can see that something is set up for 2nd August and something, because for this last submission date is 4th or maybe 5th. Based on that, invite has been sent so that I see and then I take my next action. The next is related to, suppose you got an email and then something is, or it has a document and you're not very clear with the requirement by going through the email. In that case, you can actually send an invite to the person and you can configure the time. Obviously, you don't know what the other person is comfortable with the timing, but it has a default time of 10, the most common time in which people read the email. So at that time, a calendar invite will be sent. I will run this one. Again, it is trying to read all the email and then identify where clarification is required. The message should not be, will not be very clear. It may be abstract. I'm not able to understand. In that case, again, a meeting invite will be sent in my calendar as well as to the person I'll not be able to show you the other person who has sent me, but the event or the invite will be sent 10 to 11, and same will be sent to the other person who has sent the email and the person who are CC'd here. So these are the two things I wanted to cover, and I will again hand over to Kapil for the third case.
Yeah, thanks, Nishant. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, Kapil, we can see.
Cool. So I think the third piece is, again, building on what Nishant is saying. So we have now read the emails in the morning. We've sent in a summary. There are some meetings which have been set up, and then the meetings is a very interesting use case. What you're seeing is a very simplistic use case. There are other agentic technologies which are coming up where an agent can look at my entire calendar for a week or a day and can readjust the entire meetings. It can go back and look at other person's calendar and everything. We didn't create that kind of a complex demo for today, but it can really manage my entire calendar. Again, I think the inspiration we are trying to bring here is, think of it, if you were to have a human agent in front of you who would do this piece for you. You would go back and tell an assistant, can you manage my calendar or the piece out? Today, we would only see this, some very senior folks having those executive assistants, but now all of us can have the assistant as do that for us. And these are the tools which we need to use. But now let's look into it, how we can use this tool to perform multiple tasks. So what you see up here on the top that I'm selecting is the first workflow, where we read the emails, summarize it, and send it on Discord. But then down here are another set of 3 agents that are going to get the email, do some research, create a document, ask for permission to the user whether they should be creating the document or not, and then eventually create an event. And if you look into it, I don't need to set up everything again. I can just drag and drop and connect the 2 workflows. That's it. It is as simple as that. So what this means is you can create all of these different settings, and if you suddenly realize one can connect to another, you just can do drag and drop and create everything and then seamlessly working it out. But let's understand what this thing is going to do. Again, these are all AI agents. If you see below, all of these 4 agents are talking to OpenAI chat. But if I want, I can connect any one of them to Claude or whatnot. If I feel that for research, it's like typically people say that for research, Google's Gemini's Ultra agent is probably one of the best to do research. Now, everybody has their own opinions, but that's generally where industry is kind of opinionated towards. If you were to do coding, people feel Claude is probably the better. OpenAI is really good when it comes to chat GPT, and now they've introduced some sort of a learning agent and stuff. So if you want to go back and use some of these things, you can do it. I was just looking at it. I think they've also recently, so they've now introduced a switch. If you use a switch, you can change the agents on the fly. But for the demo today, we've stuck with just one agent and we're using OpenAI only. So let's understand what the next agent essentially does. So this one, again, we read the combined messages on the top. That is a user message. You will see that as a common inference or a common setup everywhere. Where it starts to create the magic is the system message. In the system message, the prompt that we give this time is saying that you are intelligent assistant, which will detect whether the email needs further clarification, brainstorming, or understanding its content. If it does, identify the contents, extract the information, and pass it across. Once this event is done, this agent runs. It then runs another agent, which is a research specific agent. And we are giving it a role of saying you are a research agent. It has a specific goal. In this case, the goal is being defined to create a Google Doc after the research is done. And then there are multiple steps written in here. We will actually export this entire N8N and share it with you so that if all of you want to upload it on your instance and try it out, you should be able to do it. We will figure out with Ajay sir and Huda sir if there is an easy way to do it, or else we'll just try to export and put it into chat later on. But you can also look at the recording later on and just see what the prompts is that we used out here. So, but this one is going to do the research. This agent also is going to connect to Google Docs, create a document, upload it, and then send a message to Discord seeking permission whether the research is right or wrong. Let me now go back and run the entire workflow. So you see the first flow was running. It's going to summarize. Summarization is done. I've got the recent message, but now it is finishing the research. It's created a document. It's finished the research, uploaded the document, and now it has sent me a message asking the document title discussion on IEEE session improvements has been created updated with research content. Please review it here. I can click it. It will take me to my Google Doc and see I have an entire piece. Now, of course, this is generic research. I haven't connected this to any of the memory today. What we could have done, we could have used a tool like Fireflies or somehow recorded the entire script of the session today and passed to the agent, and then it would have summarized everything for us later. But given that we don't have that memory connected yet, it is still able to go back and do some research. It's still saying gathering feedback, assessing participation. This is the research it has done. If I like this, I can go back, approve it. This is not working as accurately as we want, but fundamentally, if I was to approve, this is tick, and the agent is done. Now, if I go back to my calendar, fingers crossed. Sometimes, yeah, this was breaking even yesterday. So let us see where and how it has created the content. This was breaking even yesterday, which is where the agents can sometime act finicky. I don't see where it is created. It was creating some things in June yesterday, so I don't know if that has broken again. But nevertheless, this is where the agents can be a little bit unpredictable. That's where the hallucination part comes that you guys may have all heard about it somewhere. It may go back and create something later on and what have you. This is somehow creating it elsewhere. But nevertheless, I think what it would do is what Nishant showed. It would, let me try running this again and see if it gives me. Yeah, it's just not creating the output. For some reason, this thing is not connecting with my account. Could be a bug in the way we've set this piece up. But nevertheless, I think what it would supposed to do is what Nishant showed earlier. It should create a calendar event somewhere here with that document link attached that we saw here. So the entire piece can essentially be connected. So back to my example earlier, if I'm going to office Monday morning, I saw this email and I have to have a meeting with one of my colleagues. This agent can run, set up a meeting, do all the research, save me even more time. I can get that research on Discord or my Teams channel, whatever I want to use, and I can just read it through commute. I mean, if I'm driving, I can replay through text to speech. If I am commuting through public commute, I can read through it, don't have to worry about it, and that saves me a lot of time. And I can walk into a room well prepared, and all the time that has been saved for me, I can use that for other purposes. That was the kind of demo we had. These are the three things we built. Anything else, Nishant, that you want to cover? I think we have a few more minutes before we open to Q&A, but if we covered everything, we can then essentially just open it for Q&A.
I guess we have covered whatever was there in as part of the demo, Kapil.
Okay, so then, ma'am, I think we're done from our session perspective. We had these pieces in there. So if we want to open for Q&A now, or if anybody else wants to add something, we can do that.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. I am sure this insightful session has enlightened the participants about how agentic AI can be used to, I would say, help professionals become more productive. But yes, there are certain questions by the participants, which I would like to now take up with your permission.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
So first question we have, how do we react or control if an agent behaves unexpectedly or unpredictably in a complex scenario?
Sure, I think that's a very good question. We actually showed an example where when the research was done and document was created, we actually received a message on Discord which asked us to approve the message. Now that is what we call as human in the loop setup. Now a lot of the agents today, especially in complex scenarios, we like to put human into the loop scenario. So in this case, even though it was a simple research, I was getting a message unless and until I would approve the message, that document and email would not be set up. So it allows me to control the output of the agent. In case if agent interprets something incorrectly or something goes wrong, I am able to interpret this piece out. It's at least my assessment that in next 2 to 3 years, that level of certainty that agents making mistakes and not is going to get a lot more certain, lot less hallucinations will happen. And also industry actively is working on something called evals. So as we deploy these events, actually, if I was to share my screen again real quick, I can actually show you that even the tool that we were showing you, it has this concept called evaluations on the top. I Yeah, I don't want to save it. I think Nishant may have made some change, but these are evaluations. So we can set up these evaluations that can measure what we call as drift. So we deploy an agent, we test its accuracy, and we set up evaluations to make sure that as LLMs evolve or knowledge changes, we are not seeing a drift, and then we can stop it and we can deploy a newer version. So those are the measures we generally take to make sure that if agent is misbehaving, we still do control it in the middle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. So next question we have, are agentic AI systems also vulnerable to cyber threats,
Yes.
which could compromise their security and functionality?
Yes, so security is a very big concern right now. This is a completely new space. A lot of attacks are coming in. I mean, if you were to go back and even listen, Sam Altman, who's the OpenAI's founder and Anthropic and stuff, they all say, do not put any of your personal data into public agents because they use that data for training purposes and whatnot. And any hacker who's smart enough can trace your public data outside of those tools. So like in our organization, when we use these chatbots, we only use enterprise data, which do not take any of our data for training purposes, but be very careful for what it is. This is a completely new technology. It is vulnerable to attacks, and we all have to be very careful how we use it. So setting up governances and what have you is very, very important.
Absolutely, sir. So another question we have. Last year, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella had talked about how agentic AI will become all powerful and visible on the future of SaaS. How much of that is actually true today, or will it become true in the coming years soon?
See, just like any other technology, as innovation happens, I mean, think about it, 2008 when Steve Jobs announced the iPhone. It was an iPhone version 1. It had immense power, but it took 5, 6, 7 years before iPhones really came to its power, right? And I mean, smartphones became all powerful because an entire ecosystem has to be built around it. So we started getting app stores, e-commerce apps were coming, people were understanding the power of it, and the phones themselves had to become powerful enough for them to become valuable. And now if you think about it, these are the same phones where video game industry is making billions and billions of dollars, right? Who would have thought in 2008 that mobile video games is going to make so much money? Agentic AI is on a similar path. The only big difference is all of that is going to happen much faster. It's not going to take 5, 6 years for agentic to become powerful. But yes, it's never going to happen where in 3 years we're going to see agentic overtake everything else. It's going to become very, very powerful. We all need to understand how to bring it into our day-to-day lives. The simple examples we showed you today, these kind of workflows saves me 2 to 3 hours every day, and I use those 3 hours for learning, trying new things. I'm back to being able to write code, which was very difficult for me to do earlier. I can actually start doing that now. So I think the simple answer is agentic is going to continue to become powerful. It is going to slowly go there, as people understand its power, new tools and ecosystems are evolving around it. It's going to take a couple of years for it to start really showcasing value, but we have to be very careful how to use it, where to use it.
Absolutely, sir. So we have other few questions. Have we seen any performance issues while using agents on OpenAI interface?
There are. It depends on the underlying plans which we are using. All of these tools like OpenAI and stuff, they have rate limiting and stuff. So if you are using on a free plan, you may not even be able to access what we are doing today, depending on what rate limit you have. Within our organization, we work with max plans and stuff. But then as you start hitting the rate limiting, you will run into those pieces, which is where it is becoming very important for all of us to plan how much money we want to spend using these tools and APIs and whatnot. And then I see the other question is being deploying into production environments. Yes, that's already happening. Multiple CIOs and CTOs are cautious what goes into production, but everybody is testing. We at Nagarro are working with several of our clients where we are using agentic AI for all the purposes, even writing code for that matter. So everybody is adopting it, but they are cautious in adopting it. Nobody is rushing into it blindly. They are very careful what goes into production where, and human in the loop is very, very important. Almost every implementation that we do has a configuration for human in the loop. Nobody is saying, let's deploy autonomous agents and let them do whatever. Nobody is going down that road.
Absolutely, sir. So one last question. Please do suggest certain agentic AI platforms for students to learn how to work on it.
So we actually, yeah, okay, that was our slide we didn't cover.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
had a slide. Let me go back to the Miro. I hope you can see. Yeah, so this is one slide you may want to take a screenshot of. So typically when we look at learning about AI, even within our offices, when we do and work, we look at very high level three different categories. So one of them are basically your foundation models, LLMs, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude, and stuff. These are services even available for free. You can download, start chatting with it, start getting the information, and they are becoming extremely powerful every month. If you are following OpenAI, I think last week or earlier this week announced it agentic mode in which it got access to its windows. So I mean, I tried doing it in India, it wasn't working. Supposedly it works in US today, but I can literally go and say, book me 2 tickets for so and so movie and so theater. It opens up a window, opens up the website, browses everything, and gets everything done. I don't even have to open my Book My Show app anymore. So those are all foundation models. That should be your absolute starting point. If you are not using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini today, you are already behind the curve. That's something you should immediately after this session open and start exploring. If you are a developer, then the very first category is very important for you. Your tools like LangChain, Crew AI, Super Agents, Open Agents are all different multiple frameworks that are used to start creating these programs. What you saw today is a low code platform like N8N in which I don't have to create these various orchestrations. I can drag and drop. It's a very good starting point for a personal use and even maybe in some enterprises. But when we start transitioning from true enterprise level AI, that's where the very first frameworks and orchestrators category becomes very, very powerful because that's where we start getting a lot of control on governance, security, what programming language and what have you. So the order should be look at foundation models now, start playing with these low code, no code tools, which will get you started quickly. For a personal use, these are great. But when you start getting into true development pieces, that's when you start using frameworks. And when you get to development, that's when you should use Claude Code, GitHub Copilots for all of those use cases.
I'll just add on top of what Kapil said. Crew AI has a very informative video of almost 6 or 7 hours. The founder has himself explained what all things it is based on how it started. So it is very informative. You can go through it. It is available on the site. If you open crew.ai, there is a training link, and once you click on that, it has almost 4 or 5 hours session.
Just paste a training link in the chat, Nishant, for everyone to have quick access. I think it would be helpful.
So thank you, Kapil sir, and thank you, Nishant sir, for this wonderful session on agentic AI today. We have now come to the end to this wonderful session, and we will not end this session before I invite Professor M.N. Huda sir to thank Kapil sir and Nishant sir for this wonderful session today with certificates.
Thank you, ma'am.
Huda sir?
Yeah, so thank you so much for such a wonderful talk. And
you,
this
sir.
certificate is not for the purpose of certification. It is for the purpose of remembrance that
Yes,
you
sir.
have been part of this wonderful session, which talked about AI works when we all sleep.
Thanks
But
a
we are
lot.
not sleeping.
Yes, sir.
We are making people to be aware that
Yes,
there
sir.
is some technology which is working to all of us. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Very
Mr.
glad to
Kapil
be
as
here
well.
again. I think this is personally my third interaction through Ajay, through this Peace Out. Very glad to be able to be part of this community and being able to contribute. Thank you very much for having
Thank
us.
you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapil. Our privilege. And
Thank you,
this
sir.
memento again, you realize the difference. इंसान घर बदलता है, लिबास बदलता है, रिश्ते बदलता है, दोस्त बदलता है, फिर भी परेशान क्यों रहता है? क्योंकि हम अपने आप को नहीं बदलते. But we have changed a lot. So certificate in electronic format, memento in electronic format, and again, this is part of the same remembrance that
Thank you very much, sir.
keep its copy with you. It is not certification, not kind of any authentication. It's just a remembrance. So thank you so much.
Thank you
It
very
was a
much.
wonderful program. I've attended entire program, and yes, the technology is going to give us newer and newer dimension. That is why I always say कि वो टेक्नोलॉजी के मुसाफिर तुम्हें अभी बहुत दूर जाना है, पत्थरों पे गुलाब खिलाना है और आंधियों में चिराग जलाना है. तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी का काम है कि पत्थर पे बिना पानी बिना मिट्टी के गुलाब खिले और आंधियों में बिना किसी डर के चिराग जले. तो ये काम होने वाला है टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से. थैंक यू सो मच. ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. And once again, thank you, Kapil sir, and thank you, Nishant sir,
Thank you,
for this
ma'am.
wonderful session. We'll hope to have more such knowledge enhancing sessions with you in the future, and this time, I would say more earlier. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.